Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we're going to be looking in our grammar unit about one of the more difficult and more complicated concepts in the beginning of Arabic grammar. And so here you just have to be patient, study this over and over again, and memorize the different branches of it until you really got it solid in your mind. And this is one of the concepts that really will show whether or not you are good at studying Arabic grammar. Somebody who's mastered this concept and they know it and they're able to apply it when they're reading and always to give the right harakat when they're reading, that is a sign that this person is really doing well in Arabic grammar. And so we're continuing, we're still in the section of al-ma'rab, those kinds of words that the signs at the ending of those words change according to the role they're playing in the sentence, right? Whether they're marfu', mansub, or majroor. And we know that the asl, the normal way for that, is for a word that's marfu', the sign at the end will be a dhamma. If it's mansub, the sign will be a fatha. And if it's majroor, the sign will be a kasra. And then in the last lesson, we looked at some of the exceptions to that. So for example, jamul mudhakkar as-salim, the sound masculine plural, we have muslimuna in the case of being raf, and then in mansub, when it's mansub, we have muslimina, and then when it's majroor, we also have muslimina. We also looked at jamul muannath as-salim, the sound feminine plural, and so then when it's marfu', we'll have muslimatun. When it's mansub, we'll have muslimatin. So we have a kasra at the end. And then when it's majroor, we'll also have muslimatin. And then we also looked at al-muthanna, the dual case. There we'll have muslimani for the case of raf, when the word is marfu'. And when it's mansub, we'll have muslimaini. And then when it's majroor, again, muslimaini. So those are the three probably most common exceptions to the dhamma, fatha, kasra rule. Today, we're looking at another exception, but it's one of the more difficult ones, and it's what is called ghayrul munsarif. That ism that doesn't accept sarf. And another word for that is mamnu'un min as-sarf. So sometimes you'll hear ghayrul munsarif, and sometimes you'll hear mamnu'un min as-sarf. It's the same thing. And here the author explains to us what that means is وَهُوَ اسْمٌ لَا يَقْبَلُ التَّنْوِينَ. It's an ism that doesn't accept tanween. It will never have un at the end. Even if it's indefinite and there's no alif lam at the beginning, it will just have a dhamma. It will never have the dhamma with the noon sound after it. يَعْرَبُ بِالضَّمَّةِ رَفْعًا. When it's in the case of being marfu', it has a dhamma at the end, like normal. وَبِالْفَتْحَةِ نَصْبًا وَجَرًّا. And when it's in the case of being mansub, in the case of nasb, it has a fatha. And then the part that's exceptional about it, when it's in the case of jar, when it's majroor, it also has a fatha. So it never takes a kasra. So this is the thing about ghayrul munsarif. It doesn't accept tanween. It will never have un at the end. It will only have u, just the dhamma. And it will never accept kasra. So even if it's in the state of being majroor, it will have a fatha, not a kasra. So here he gives an example. Taqulu, you say, Ja'a Umaru. So Umar, the name, is an example of one of the words, one of the asma, the isms, that is ghayrul munsarif. It doesn't accept tanween. So you can never say Umarun. Like if you're having another name like Muhammad, you would say Muhammadun with tanween. But here with Umar, you can never say Umarun. You have to say Umaru. Ja'a Umaru. Ra'aytu Umara. So here it's mansub because it's the object of Ra'aytu, I saw. Ra'aytu Umara. I saw Umar. So it takes the fatha. But then here, when it's in the case of being majroor, marartu bi, because of this harf jar ba, it's majroor. We say marartu bi Umara with the fatha once again. So that's the easy part, knowing what it means for a word to be ghayrul munsarif. That it will not accept tanween, and it also will not accept a kasra ever. So if it's marfu', it will have a dhamma. If it's mansub, it will have a fatha, and if it's majroor, it will also have a fatha. Now the difficult part is knowing which words are treated like that. How do we know when a word is ghayrul munsarif? So the author, he says, وَغَيْرُ الْمُنصَرِفِ نَوْعَانِ. The words that are غَيْرُ الْمُنصَرِف are of two types. الأول, the first, ما يمنع من الصرف لعلة واحدة. That which is ممنوع من الصرف, it's غير المنصرف, because of one reason. So he's going to break it down into a chart, right? So first we have two different branches of غير المنصرف. That which is غير المنصرف just for one reason. And that will be three different types of words. Then our second category, those things that are غير المنصرف because of two reasons, that when both these things come together in the same word, that word will be غير المنصرف. And in that one, there's several different branches of it. So first, here we have those things that are غير المنصرف because of one reason. And that is three different types. One, a word that has ألف التأنيث المكسورة, the ألف التأنيث المكسورة. The alif, the letter alif that is to indicate femininity, ألف التأنيث المكسورة. And that is like in the example here, حبلى. This alif right here at the end that looks like a ya but without the dots, whenever that comes at the end of a word to indicate that that word is feminine, then that word will be غير المنصرف. So here he gives two examples. حبلى means someone who's pregnant. And حبارة, here another example, has that ألف التأنيث المكسورة is a kind of bird. I don't think we have them here in the States, but it's like a bird that walks on land. So anytime you have this ألف التأنيث المكسورة at the end of a word, that means that word is غير المنصرف. Now here, this example is a little bit complicated, right? Because حبلى, you say, where's the dhamma, where's the fatha? I don't see it. We just say حبلى. There's no dhamma or fatha on the alif here. We don't say, it's impossible to say, actually. How can you put a dhamma on an alif? How would you even say that, right? So this is also a little bit more complicated. We'll explain this in one of the lessons coming up. Sometimes in certain words, you don't have the dhamma or the fatha or the kasra there just because of the way you speak the letter. We're not able to say the dhamma in that place, but what we do instead is that dhamma is muqaddara. It's estimated. We pretend it's there. So we would say hubla, if it's marfu, we would say it's marfu, and the sign of it being marfu is a dhamma muqaddara. A dhamma that's not there, but we act like it's there. Don't worry about that too much right now. We'll have a full lesson just about that. But just know for right now that anytime you have a word and at the end of it is this alif al-ta'nith al-maqsura, that alif that looks like a ya without the dots, then that word is ghayrul munsarif. Now, the second sign that a word is ghayrul munsarif, or a second reason, under the category of things that make words ghayrul munsarif just by themselves, just with one reason, is alif al-ta'nith al-mamduda. Another alif, and that's like this alif here that we have in hamra'u. So here, hamra'u, this where you have this alif at the end of the word and after it is a hamza, this is called alif al-ta'nith al-mamduda. The alif of femininity that is mamduda. So here, hamra'u are also sahra'u. Hamra'u means is to describe something as being red. Something is red, but for feminine. Here, sahra'u, the desert, right? The Sahara, from the same word. So sahra'u, you would say, for example, if you are talking about the sahra and it's marfu, you would say sahra'u. You would never say sahra'un because it doesn't accept tanween. Anytime you have this alif at-ta'nith al-mamduda at the end of a word, it will not accept tanween. So we would say sahra'u when it's marfu. If it's mansub, for example, you would say sahra'a. If somebody would say, for example, qata'tu as-sahra'a, I passed, or I went through, I traversed the desert, as-sahra'a. Or if you just wanted to say a desert, make it indefinite without the alif lam, you would say qata'tu sahra'a, I passed a desert. You wouldn't say sahra'an, just sahra'a without tanween. And if you wanted to say I passed the desert, marartu bi sahra'a. Once again, just with the fatha because it will never take a kasra. So this is type number 2 under those examples of ways that a word can be made ghayrul, or those things that make a word ghayrul munsarif just for one reason. So if you have alif at-ta'nith al-maqsura, then the word will be ghayrul munsarif, like this alif that looks like a ya. If you have alif at-ta'nith al-mamduda, this alif, there is an alif with a hamza after it at the end of the word, then that also will be ghayrul munsarif. And then lastly, وصيغة منتهى الجموع. صيغة منتهى الجموع means the صيغة means the like the structure. So we talk about the صيغة of a word, the way that it's built, meaning the pattern. So this is the pattern of the end of all plurals, meaning it's a plural that after it you can't make any more plurals. Because you can have in the Arabic language, sometimes you can make a plural of a word and then you can make a plural of that plural. And this is what I told you guys to remember before that will come back. It's 2 patterns, mafa'il and mafa'il. And if you just remember 2 words on this pattern, it will help you always remember. Masajid, the plural of masjid, right? Masajid, mafa'il, and masabih. Masabih, meaning lanterns, the plural of misbah. So anything on that plural of masajid or masabih is going to be ghayrul munsarif. So for example, you would say, you would never say masajidun. No, you always have to just say masajidu. And if you wanted to say you passed by the masjid, you would say marartu bil marartu, I passed by a masjid, you would say marartu bi masajida. You wouldn't say bi masajidi. So these are the 3 things that if they come will make the word ghayrul munsarif just by their own. They don't have to combine with any other cause to make a word ghayrul munsarif. That is alif at-ta'nith al-maqsura, and that's the alif that looks like a ya without dots. Number 2, alif at-ta'nith al-mamduda, and that is the alif that is a regular alif and then after it is a hamza. And then finally, sighatu muntaha al-jumu', and that's 2 patterns, masajid and masabih, or mafa'il and mafa'il. Now, the second category of ghayrul munsarif are those words that are ghayrul munsarif because of 2 conditions coming together in the same word. So these are conditions that have to come together, both of them at the same time, to make that word ghayrul munsarif. And so first one, we have alamiya, properness, right? Alamiya means for a noun to be proper, meaning for it to be a name of a person or a place, a proper name. So if you have a word that is a proper name, you have alamiya, properness, and then at the same time you have a tarkib. meaning that word is actually used to be two words and then was put together to make one word. So he gives us two examples of that. Ba'labak. Ba'labak is a city in Lebanon, in Lebanon. And so Ba'labak, it's the name of a city, or I don't know if it's a city really, but a region. And it's made up, it was actually originally two words, Ba'al and Bekka, and then they put those two words together to make Ba'labak. And so now it's because of that, because it's a proper name and it's made up of two words that were put together to make one word, it is Ghayrul Munsarif. And another example of that is Hadramaut. Hadramaut is a city in Yemen, or not a city, but a region in Yemen. And so it is also an example of a proper name, the name of a region, and it is has tarkib, means it's two words put together to make one word. This one is not quite as common, you won't come across it as often. But the second one here, so look at this, the way he has this laid out. He has one and then two down here. And then we have alif, ba, jim, dal, ha, waw. So what we have here is one is alamiyah and two is as-sifa. So here we're going to look at all those different things that when they come with alamiyah, if they come with properness, they make it Ghayrul Munsarif. And then we'll look at things that if they come with a sifa, with a description, then they will also make it Ghayrul Munsarif. So here, all these things in this first paragraph are things that if they come with alamiyah, then they'll make that word Ghayrul Munsarif. So here we're talking only about proper nouns. So alamiyah and tarkib, proper noun and the word being put together from two different words. Now ba أو ألف ألف or مع ألف ونون مزيدتين, and or with an alif and a noon that are added at the end of a word. So here we have the second way is that you combine between having a proper name, alamiyah, and having an alif and a noon added at the end of the word. So examples of that are Uthman, right? The name Uthman. The root letters of that is the ayn, the tha, and the mim. And the alif and noon are just added to that name. So Uthman. You would say Ja'a Uthmanu. Uthman came. Ra'aytu Uthmana. I saw Uthman, and Marartu bi Uthmana. You would never say Uthmani, and you would never say Uthmanun. It doesn't accept tanween, and it doesn't accept kasra. And another example, Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. Ja'a Ramadanu, the month of Ramadan has come. Sumtu Ramadana, I fasted the month of Ramadan. Or Salaytu kathiran fi Ramadana, I prayed a lot during Ramadan. Fi Ramadana, you would never say Ramadani. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah it says Shahru Ramadan alladhi. It's the mudaf ilay, but it doesn't take kasra. So you don't say Shahru Ramadan alladhi. No, you say Shahru Ramadan alladhi. So either alamiyah and also tarkib, being made from two different words, or alamiyah and having an alif and a noon added at the end. Or we have alamiyah also أو مع التأنيث, with femininity. So anytime you have a proper name that is feminine, then that is going to be Ghayrul Munsarif. So you say Fatimatu. You never say Fatimatun. You never say Fatimati. Doesn't accept tanween and it doesn't accept kasra. Fatimatu or Zainabu. And then also here, Hamzatu. Hamza is actually a male name, but the way it's written, it has the ta at-ta'nith, this ta that is a symbol of femininity. So even if the name is actually a man's name, but it has the ta at-ta'nith at the end, then still you'll treat it Ghayrul Munsarif. So you would say Ja'a Hamzatu, Hamza came. You would never say Hamzatun. You would say Ra'aytu Hamzata or Marartu bi Hamzata. Would never say Hamzati. So alamiya, properness with tarkib, alamiya with alif wa noon mazidatain, having an alif and a noon added at the end, or alamiya with femininity, either whether that word is actually the name of a woman or if it's feminine just because it has the ta al-marbuta at the end, even if it's really a man's name. Now we have al-alamiya ma'a al-a'jamiya. Al-a'jamiya means foreignness, right? So any proper name that is not originally an Arabic name is going to be غير المنصرف. So example, Ibrahim in Ismail. So you would say جاء إبراهيم, رأيت إبراهيم, مررت بإبراهيم. Will never accept tanween. You never say Ibrahimun, and it will never accept kasra. You won't say Ibrahimi. And then also the second to last here, ha, if you have alamiya, a proper name, and with it it's on the wazn of a fi'al, wazanul fi'al, the pattern of a verb. So examples of that are Ahmed. Ahmed is on the pattern of af'al, and so that is a pattern that comes for verbs. So because of that, here the word Ahmed, the name Ahmed, is غير المنصرف. You would say جاء أحمد, رأيت أحمدا, مررت بأحمدا. And also Yazid, that's also on the pattern of a verb. So you would say جاء يزيد, رأيت يزيد, مررت بيزيد. And then lastly, if you have alamiya with al-adl, which what it means is it's a word that originally was a different structure and then it got changed to a new structure. But the simple way to remember is it's just on the pattern fu'al, fu'al. So that is like the names Omar, fu'al, Omar, because originally it was Amir and then changed to Umar. And also Zufar. These are, Zufar is a famous name, was one of the companions of Abu Hanifa. His name was Zufar. So anytime you have a name on this pattern, fu'al, it will not take tanween and it will not take kasra. You'll say Ja'a Umaru, Ra'aytu Umara, Marartu bi Umara. So these are all the cases where you have a proper name and one of these 6 things. So if you have a proper name and one of these 6 things, it's murakkab. You have tartib, it was made from 2 different words, or it has an alif and a noon added at the end, or it's a feminine name, whether it's a feminine name in the fact that it refers to a woman, or it's a feminine name meaning just that it has the ta'nith at the end of it, or if it's a foreign name, or if it's a name on the pattern of a verb, or if it's a name on this pattern fu'al, all those will always be غير المنصرف. They won't accept tanween and they won't accept kasra. And then now our last category is when we have a sifa, a word that is a description and it comes with one of these 3 things. A sifa that has alif wa noon mazidatain, nahu sukran. Sukran means drunk. So it's a description and it's from the original word, this original root, sin, kaf, and ra, and then an alif and a noon was added at the end. So that's going to be غير المنصرف. Also, غضبان. Right? غضبان means to be very, very angry. From the root ghain, dad, ba, and then added at the end we have an alif and a noon. So it will never accept tanween and it will never accept kasra. And then if we, our second thing when it's combined with the word being a description is if it's on, just like in the last category, أو وزن الفعل. وزن الفعل. If it's on the pattern of a verb, like أحمر. When something is red, to call something red is أحمر. It's on that pattern أفعل. And that's, a pattern that verbs come on. So you would, it's غير المنصرف. Also أحسن. And then lastly, if you have something that is a sifa and it is also on that pattern fu'al, if it's, al-adl, meaning it's changed from one pattern to another. So example of that is like ukhar. Ukhar is the feminine of akhar. So you took akhar and then changed it to ukhar, and now it doesn't accept tanween and it doesn't accept kasra. Also like that is thulath.